On the outside, the Swift sports a sleek and modern design. Suzuki have introduced a new Horizon design line that wraps around the vehicle, creating a sense of motion. Rounded shoulder lines give it a sporty edge, while the iconic Suzuki badge proudly sits at the front of the bonnet. Lower headlight positions and L-shaped daytime running lights not only enhance visibility, but also add a touch of sophistication. And check out those clear rear tailgate lights.
This is the Border Northeast Daily with Catherine Halleran. Police are investigating a fatal crash at Everton Upper that claimed the life of a Beechworth woman and left others in hospital, including a child. Emma Clark reports.
Emergency services were called to Beechworth Wangaratta Road around 3:30 on Saturday afternoon after a Mazda CX-8 and Volkswagen Tiguan collided. The 74-year-old driver of the Volkswagen died at the scene while her female passenger was airlifted to hospital with life-threatening injuries. A 41-year-old Beechworth woman driving the Mazda was airlifted to hospital with life-threatening injuries, with a 7-year-old in the same car flown to hospital as a precaution. Victoria Police spokesperson John McLaughlin said the exact circumstances of the collision are yet to be determined and investigations are ongoing. Emma Clark, Ace Radio.
Meantime, a man has been seriously injured after being hit by a car while trying to cross the Hume Freeway. Sam College has more.
Emergency services were called to the scene near Melrose Drive in Wodonga at around 6 p.m. on Thursday. Police say the man, aged in his 50s, was struck while attempting to cross the busy highway. He was treated at the scene by paramedics before being airlifted to Melbourne Hospital with injuries to his upper and lower body. Officers from Wodonga Highway Patrol are investigating. The driver involved is assisting police, however, is not believed to be at fault. Anyone who witnessed the incident or has information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Sam College, Ace Radio.
Investigations are underway after a car performing burnouts crashed into a bus shelter on Saturday night. The incident occurred shortly after 8 p.m. on Stevenson Street, resulting in significant damage to both the vehicle and the shelter. Police are urging anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers. Border residents are advised to allow extra time when travelling on V-Line services today due to works on the Inland Rail. Coaches will replace Albury Line trains for the entire journey between Albury and Southern Cross Station. A temporary coach timetable is available from the V-Line or PTV websites.
Major Collision Investigation Unit detectives are investigating a fatal collision in Everton Upper on Saturday. It's believed a Mazda and Volkswagen collided on Beechworth Wangaratta Road just after 3:30 p.m. The driver of the Volkswagen died at the scene. Her female passenger was airlifted to hospital with life-threatening injuries, as was the driver of the Mazda. Her passenger, a 7-year-old girl, was airlifted as a precaution. The exact circumstances of the collision are yet to be determined as investigations are ongoing. Victorian Container Deposit Scheme coordinators Vic Return are encouraging Northeast locals recycling containers over the coming weeks to enter a competition. Across both Wangaratta and Wodonga, more than 20 million drink containers have been returned through the program to date. Vic Return CEO Jim Round says they've launched the Win a Million Cents campaign.
There are 5 cash prizes now of 10 grand each, so we would encourage people to collect and return. Make sure you return more than 50 in one go, and then upload to winamillionscents.com.au. The competition goes till June 15, so you've still got another 3 weeks to apply.
A Yarrawonga 32-year-old resident has been caught by police driving despite his disqualified licence. The man was driving an Isuzu truck near Hogan's Road. The vehicle was impounded for 28 days with a cost of over $1,500. And Jemima Wyman has been announced as the winner of the $40,000 Wangaratta Contemporary Textile Award for this year.
A home on Donaldson Street in Corryong has suffered significant damage in an early morning blaze. 7 fire crews, including from Corryong and Kajiwa, responded to the blaze just after 1:30 a.m. yesterday. Firefighters arrived to find the house was already fully engulfed in flames. Victoria Police were also called to assist at the scene. The fire was brought under control an hour later. A fire investigator returned to the site yesterday to determine the cause. There was a massive clean-up in Albury yesterday after a load of animal offal spilled onto Barella Road. The incident happened at the Shoeback Street roundabout just after 10 a.m, with 2 cubic metres of gizzards scattered across the road. Both directions of traffic were impacted, while police, fire crews and council were called in to assist with the clean-up. The road was reopened to vehicles around 11:30 a.m. The countdown is on until the official opening of the Victorian ski season next weekend. Despite a warmer and drier than usual autumn, local ski resorts are still confident heading into winter. Head of Visitor Experience at Hotham Alpine Resort Andrew Eckelsley says they are expecting more snow to fall ahead of next weekend.
I think most years we normally are lucky enough to get one or two sort of pre-season snowfalls. We had a couple of centimetres come in last weekend, but hopefully over the next 24 hours we should see a little bit come in as the temps are going to drop, so that'll definitely be cold enough to all fall as snow, which will be pretty exciting. So we might get a couple more centimetres overnight.
Plenty of poochers on the border hit the pavement for one last time, with the RSPCA holding its final ever Million Paws Walk last Sunday. The much-loved event, which celebrated its 30th anniversary, also marked its final year. President of the Albury RSPCA branch, Arthur Fraunfelder, says Sunday's walk in Albury was an opportunity to say thank you to everyone that has been involved.
And there'll be something else on next year, so don't worry about it. It's a chance for RSPCA to say thank you to all of the people that have helped us over the years, and it gives them, the people, a chance to actually see what services are available.
The border is set to hit national television screens tonight. Channel 9's Tony Jones will be live from John Ford Oval in Corowa for the nightly news sports report at 6:15. The Corowa Rutherglen Football Netball Club is inviting the community to head down and be part of the action.
A former AFL player with ties to Wangaratta is wanted by police on a series of serious charges. Aaron James has had 8 warrants issued for his arrest. Police have said he was added to a Crime Stoppers list of wanted people on May 19. He has previously appeared in Wangaratta court several times on drug, burglary and driving-related offences. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. The 48th Historic Winton event took place over the weekend, with the new all-car program being deemed a success. Historic Winton organiser Paul Cutler says many people came through the gates on both Saturday and Sunday.
Look, it was an amazing weekend and the weather helped. We had quite a few thousand people through the gate, both on Saturday and on Sunday. Plenty of action on the tracks, starting from very early cars, the 1910s, 1915s, 1920s, in the JK and the regularities, right through to the big Corvettes, Porsches, and everything in between, including little Minis and little Cortinas. And also we had plenty of cars on display.
And Albury City Council has opted to support a $45 million redevelopment of Lavington Pool rather than a cheaper option that had been recommended by staff. Tennis Victoria's 2025 Victorian Community Tennis Awards saw Yarrawonga College P12 take out the Most Outstanding School Award, while Myrtleford Lawn Tennis Club won the Most Outstanding Tournament. Myrtleford Lawn Tennis Club President Peter Tarns says it was exciting to get the win.
It was unexpected. We had an inkling that we were going to get nominated, then to be picked as one of the 3 finalists was a surprise. When you consider there are probably 500 to 1,000 tournaments throughout Victoria every year, be one of the top 3 was a real boom for us, And then to be announced on the night was even more of a surprise, because the other 2 tournaments are highly regarded, one run by Tennis Victoria and another one that's been going for 45 years. So yes, it was exciting.
A Wodonga farmer has been airlifted to a Melbourne hospital after suffering critical injuries on Monday while feeding stock on a West Wodonga farm. Daniel Brewer reports.
The man was feeding stock on a property when the ute he was standing on the back of began rolling down the hill. It then crashed into a culvert on Plunkett's Road, throwing the man from the tray. Emergency services were called to the Plunkett's Road property shortly after 3 p.m. on Monday. An Ambulance Victoria spokesperson said a man in his 70s was airlifted to the Alfred in a stable condition after being treated for lower body injuries. WorkSafe was contacted for comment. Daniel Brewer, Ace Radio.
Fire restrictions are already set to ease in Tawong Shire in the northeast. The fire danger period will now end at 1 a.m. on Friday. It comes after the period was extended twice, including only a week ago due to lack of rainfall and dry conditions. CFA District 24 Assistant Chief Fire Officer Brett Myers says he had always hoped restrictions would be eased before winter.
I guess it does seem silly that, in one breath we've extended the period to the 23rd of June and now we're terminating, but the rain was a big factor. The rain is obviously needed to change the landscape, and by bringing a bit of moisture into paddocks will certainly encourage a little bit of growth and reduce that risk. So it was all about the risk being too great until the rain was counted on the ground.
Greater Hume Shire Council is making an urgent plea for drought declaration and government assistance as dry conditions continue in the region. Councillors passed a motion at this month's council meeting calling for a drought declaration. Greater Hume Shire Mayor Lee Parker, who is a fifth-generation beef farmer alongside her husband Russell, says she wrote to New South Wales Agriculture Minister Tara Moriarty.
We actually haven't even had a response to, or Justin Clancy hasn't even had a response from the letter that he wrote on our behalf to the Minister. So I have written to the Minister this week, and I will expect a response, or I'll be going to Sydney to knock on the door.
The Olympic Highway between Girogery and Colcan has reopened under stop-flow traffic control. Emergency services were called to the highway near Glenvale Road after a truck caught fire shortly after 5 a.m. this morning. The driver of the truck, which was carrying fruit and vegetables, was taken to hospital. Superintendent Stuart Alexander from Fire and Rescue New South Wales says crews are still cleaning up the scene.
So the highway is open under traffic control, though traffic is moving north and south. Fire and Rescue New South Wales are now conducting hazmat operations to remove contaminated diesel from the fuel tanks of the truck. So we'll be on scene for some time yet. At this time, there's no time frame on when the highway will completely reopen, and we're also working with New South Wales Police to try and determine the cause of this fire.
Time is running out to enter the 2025 Albury-Wodonga Business Awards. This year's awards are set to be even bigger and better following a record number of entries in last year's awards. Glenn Robinson from Albury Business Connect is encouraging businesses to get an entry in before June 1.
You'd be surprised every year who ends up coming across as finalists and ultimately sort of, runners-up, and then winners are highly commended, and there's a whole different range of how those things are measured. But it's never who you think it's going to be. In fact, some of the businesses that have won, I've seen very small businesses go head-to-head with very large businesses in categories, and it's what they've done, it's what they're being scored on. It's not about how big your business was or how much profit you made. It's about who you are and what you stand for and what you do within our community.
The rural city of Wangaratta is reminding drivers that paid parking in the Wangaratta CBD has transitioned to app only. Drivers will notice changes in the coming weeks, including the removal of parking machines and updated parking signage. To assist with the transition, Council has developed a website with step-by-step instructions on how to use the Easy Park app. In addition, Easy Park representatives will be at the community kiosk on Reid Street for selected days over the next month. The Wangaratta Railway Station redeveloped precinct was officially opened yesterday, marking the completion of major works on Inland Rail's Trench 1 project. Modifications of the station precinct and the Green Street Bridge replacement were required to allow sufficient clearance for double-stacked freight trains. Independent federal member for Indi, Halleran Haynes, says the project greatly benefits the Wangaratta community.
What I'd like to see now, of course, is improved engagement, improved services when it comes to the numbers of trains available on our timetable and additional carriages, for example. We've seen the numbers of people using the train increase with the changes in fares, and I think we're only going to see more and more growth as people come and realise what a fantastic facility this is. So primarily this is a project for freight, not a project for passengers, but to get both the improvements is a really significant thing and a great thing for Wangaratta.
And Benalla Police are appealing for public assistance following an alleged assault that occurred on the 15th of March around 5 p.m. It's believed the incident occurred between occupants of a white ute and a motorbike rider on Statesman's Drive. Investigators believe there may have been witnesses who saw or heard the incident or who may have footage. Anyone with any information or footage of the incident is urged to contact Benalla Police.
Police are calling on the public to help find a man that was last seen in East Albury 4 days ago. 42-year-old Timothy Kieran was last seen on Hannell Street around 10 p.m. on Sunday. Timothy is described as Caucasian, around 170 centimetres tall, of thin build with brown hair, a beard and blue eyes. He was last seen wearing a blue and black flannelette shirt, a black jacket, long black pants and a white Nike hoodie. Anyone with information is urged to contact Albury Police or Crime Crime Stoppers. WorkSafe Victoria is urging workers across the northeast to be cautious when working from any elevated height. It comes after WorkSafe revealed that they received 63 claims from workers in the Hume region who were injured in a height-related fall last year. 10 of those were from workers under 25. WorkSafe Executive Director of Health and Safety, Sam Jenkins, says sometimes even falls from short distances can have fatal consequences.
It's too late to act when someone has fallen. That's why inspectors are cracking down on all observed falls risks. In many cases, duty holders know they're doing the wrong thing. WorkSafe inspectors often hear excuses like, the guardrails are back at the depot, the harness is in the van, or it's just a small job. The fact is, there is no excuse for putting lives at risk.
Albury Council is seeking community feedback on 4 key planning documents that will guide nearly $1 billion in infrastructure investment over the next 30 years. The draft plans include water and wastewater infrastructure strategies, a social infrastructure strategy and an updated Thaguna-Willinga precinct structure plan. Residents can view the drafts and have their say through the Council's Engaging Albury platform.
The opposition has responded to the state government's claim that it's repaired roads at record levels. This comes as no funding was announced in the recent state budget for the Wangaratta-Whitfield road upgrade. Leader of the Nationals and Shadow Minister for Roads and Road Safety, Danny O'Brien, says that state budget detail reveals road patching targets have actually been cut by 93% in regional Victoria.
The Labor government likes to talk a big game on road funding, but its actually delivery in terms of road maintenance is appalling, and its own budget papers confirm that. Road patching targets were missed this year, and they've now been cut by 93%. Likewise, the area of road resurfaced or rehabilitated is also falling, down 14%. The government seems to be spending more money and actually getting less road work done, and I think Victorians would be appalled knowing how bad our roads are, that they're not getting fixed, and yet we're apparently spending even more money.
WorkSafe has accepted 63 claims from workers across the Hume region who were injured in a fall from heights, including 10 claims from workers under 25. WorkSafe Executive Director of Health and Safety, Sam Jenkins, says it's important that all northeast workplaces are WorkSafe.
It's too late to act when someone has fallen. That's why inspectors are cracking down on all observed falls risks. In many cases, duty holders know they're doing the wrong thing. WorkSafe inspectors often hear excuses like, the guardrails are back at the depot, the harness is in the van, or it's just a small job. The fact is, there is no excuse for putting lives at risk. As we've seen from Brett's devastating story, it doesn't have to be a fall from a great height for someone to die or be seriously injured. Fall prevention is not an optional extra. It is the necessary standard. Whether you're a builder, subcontractor, or anyone with management and control of a workplace, health and safety is your responsibility.
And Moira Shire Council have confirmed that plans are moving ahead to acquire Yarrawonga's old primary school site for community use.
Victorian Minister for Industry and Advanced Manufacturing Colin Brooks was in the region yesterday, visiting Mars Pet Care in Wodonga to inspect the $112.6 million expansion of its pet food factory. The new 7,800 square metre facility will produce over 290 million single-serve cat food pouches annually for Australia and New Zealand, also creating 60 new jobs. Minister Brooks says it's a significant investment for the region.
A fantastic investment and a real sign of confidence in the Wodonga's regional economy. You know, that Mars pet food plant at the conclusion of this project will employ some 500 people. So it's a really big employer. And then, of course, there's all the spin-off industries. You know, you've got Dizzy across the road and other industries that supply in. So it's a really important part of the local economy, and it's so good to see them growing and investing.
Tourists are spending more, staying longer and engaging more online with Albury Wodonga, according to the 2024 Visitor Economy Trends Report. Despite a slight dip in total visitation, tourism still delivered over $1 billion in economic impact to the border, with domestic day visitor spending jumping 66%. Online engagement surged 55% and 19 business events generated an added $2.8 million. Albury Mayor Kevin Mack says it's hoped visitation numbers will increase with a number of major events coming up.
I think the challenge for us as two cities is finding more events and getting people to stay overnight. The numbers in overnight visitors has increased by 23%, which is a concern. But again, the day travellers increased, so we're up at around nearly 850 day travellers. So regionally, we're looking really strong, and there's a lot of regional travel, and we've still looking at getting better events. We've got the Aurora event on here in Albury at the Botanical Gardens in the next couple of months, which is really tracking well and attracting great numbers.
Drivers across the border northeast are being urged to take action to prevent further tragedies on our roads this fatality-free Friday. 149 lives have already been lost on New South Wales roads this year, including here on the border, with this year's toll already up 16 compared to this time last year. Australian Road Safety Foundation CEO Russell White says road safety is everyone's responsibility.
So the theme for this year is that it's time for a change, and if we're going to see a change in our road toll statistics, which tragically have been increasing year on year for the last 4 years, then ultimately individuals and each of us as road users needs to understand that we've got the power to make that change. And if we want to alter what's happening, the keys to doing that rest with us. It doesn't rest with government, police, and I think it's why we need to get the community to own road safety, because we're the major stakeholders in it.
Albury Wodonga Theatre Company will tonight open their latest musical production, Come From Away. It's being performed at the Albury Entertainment Centre over the next week. Director Joseph Thompson says it's been a busy few months working on the show.
Everyone has just been terrific in working together, and I think what we will be able to produce on stage, I think audiences will really love the final performance of Come From Away that our cast is able to deliver. And we've got an amazing set for the show as well, which we've hired from the musical theatre company called Clock in Melbourne. But it's our set for the production is the emulation of the Broadway production set.
A car caught fire near Jindera Gap on Wednesday night, causing major damage to the engine bay. Crews from the Jindera and Lavington Rural Fire Service responded to the blaze around 6:20. No one was injured.
A vehicle collided with a parked vehicle on Burke Street in Wangaratta around 9 p.m. last night. There were no injuries, however traffic diversions were in place with police on scene. Further police investigations into the cause of the incident are ongoing. The All Outdoor Expo is taking place at the Wangaratta Turf Club on Sunday. Expo organiser Karen Brady says attendees can explore a vast selection of outdoor goods.
It's free entry, and there'll be a range of outdoor vendors and experts as well as kids' activities. We'll have caravans, trailers, four-wheel drive vehicles, camping gear, bikes, hunting and fishing equipment, right through to seasonings and rubs and chutneys. This year we're going to have some expert speakers from Victorian Fishing Authority. We'll have Paul Bogue and also Robbie Alexander.
Galen College is celebrating 50 years this year, with former alumni and staff being welcomed back to the school for the anniversary. Community Engagement Officer at Galen, Zoe Cooper, says the milestone will be marked with a series of events.
We are very excited about celebrating 50 years of Galen Catholic College, and we're welcoming all alumni and staff from St Joseph's, Champagne and Galen Catholic College. The events are across Friday the 29th and Saturday the 30th of August. In the evening we've got a gala evening at the Gateway, and on Saturday we're having a commemorative mass which will be presided by our parish priest.
The Falls Creek Ice Plunge is taking place on Sunday to mark the start of winter and support ongoing research for motor neurone disease. Head of Visitor Experience at Falls Creek Alpine Resort, David Latham, says all proceeds from entry fees will go towards Fight MND.
Normally we expect over 100 people, and the weather forecast is sunny, so we're hoping we'll have a good turnout on the day to make homage to the snow gods for a good season and to support a really worthy cause.
And a man has been arrested in Wodonga after allegedly stealing his dog from the Albury Pound before being pursued by police.
To sport, in the interleague footy clash between the Ovens and Murray and Goulburn Valley leagues. The Ovens and Murray were too good, taking down Goulburn Valley 127 to just 50. O&M coach Jake Sharp says he's thrilled to bring back the win.
Yeah, it was an incredible performance from our boys. We got well and truly on top in the first quarter and wrestled a bit of momentum in the second quarter, and then put the foot down again in the third quarter and ran away with the victory. It was a very impressive performance.
In interleague results from WJ Finlay Oval over the weekend, the Open Netball and 17 and unders saw wins to the GVL, while O&M had a win in the 15 and unders netball, and in the footy, the under-18s saw a 13-point win to the O&M, while the seniors were 77-point winners over the GVFL. O&M interleague senior coach Jake Sharp says he was impressed with their performance.
Sense of pride, probably more so than anything, just for the way the players played, the way they followed and executed on task. Yeah, I just couldn't be more proud of them and the application to task that they displayed. Just aggressive at the ball carrier, get plenty of turnovers, and then hurt them the other way. And I thought our players were super with that. Yeah, they were awesome at just following task all day.
And Port Melbourne defeated GWS by 26 points in a VFL game played at Albury over the weekend.
The Albury-Wodonga Bandits men's side battled through their double-header with the top two sides. Playing the centre of excellence and Canberra Gunners proved a challenge for the border team. Coach Matt Kowalczyk says they were left without a number of their top players.
The COE game's a really interesting one. We went in with no Aaron Freeman, no Matt Gray, Jake Bowen got injured, I think, in the first 5-10 minutes of the game. So we were down to 7 active players for the majority of that game. We went in knowing that it was going to be a real challenge with Matt and Aaron both out, but it was a real opportunity for us to show who we are and what our identity is, and we really prided ourselves on the defensive end, and holding a team like that to 76 points, we're really proud of that effort.
That's the latest local news and sport.
And in round 11 of AWFA Division 1 soccer, second placed Albury Hotspurs were 10-0 winners over Wodonga Heart, while top of the ladder Myrtleford had a 6-0 win over St Pat's, and in the Albury Derby, United were 1-0 winners over City. In round 8 of the TDFL over the weekend, second place Barnawatha had a big win over Wodonga Saints. The reigning premiers Yakandanda beat Dedarang Mount Beauty, while Rutherglen are now third on the ladder after their 9-point win over Beechworth in a thriller at Barclay Park. And Wangaratta Auskick are putting on an all-girls Auskick and Superkick program tomorrow afternoon from 4 till 5 p.m. at WJ Finlay Oval in Wangaratta.
A few changes to the Albury-Wodonga Bandits men's lineup this weekend. Coach Matt Kowalczyk says there's been a few injuries in the squad.
So Matt Gray and Aaron Freeman will be back this weekend. Jake Bowen will be out for a little bit here with a quad contusion. So, mostly full strength, just likely Jake that'll be out.
AFL North East Border have announced that the Richmond AFLW team is visiting the North East next week. AFL NEB's Glenn Delaney says it will be a part of their new all-girls Auskick programs.
Auskick and Superkick programs both in Wangaratta and Wodonga, and these are going to be aligned with the Richmond AFLW team coming up from Melbourne on the 5th of June, so they'll be involved in both these clinics as well.
It's been announced that How Long's Ebony Hosking has signed a 2-year contract extension with the Perth Scorchers. This follows the 22-year-old's debut season with the Scorchers after formerly playing cricket for New South Wales.
In the NBL 1 East Comp, the Albury-Wodonga Bandits are back home this weekend for a single clash against Inner West Bulls. Coach of the men's side, Matt Kowalczyk, says his side will be eager to bounce back after 2 losses last weekend in Canberra.
First game against Inner West, they're a very different team to who they were last year, a lot of turnover. But just like everyone else in this league, they're super competitive. They've got some really high-end talent, and they can beat anyone on any given night, and they've shown that this year.
In round 9 of the TDFL this weekend, Barnawatha are hosting Rutherglen in a 2v3 clash. Thaguna are taking on ladder leaders Kiwa Sandy Creek, while Waggunya are up against last year's premiers Yakandanda. And 2024 Year 12 Galen student Lockie Harvey has accepted a spot at North East Community College Hawks basketball team in Nebraska. Year 9 Galen student Xavier Reach has been chosen for the New South Wales country squad at the upcoming Emerging Socceroos Championships, which will take place in early July in Melbourne. Xavier, along with 6 of his Murray United FC teammates, will take the field against some of the best under-15s from around the country.
In Group 9 rugby, Albury Thunder are at home taking on Juni Diesels. Coach Etu Ozali says he's hoping the home advantage pays off this week.
It helps that we got a home game this weekend, and it's a very tough loss last week again. As I said, it's the boys, the only one that's hurting himself is their skills and and economies and stuff. But just they got themselves to blame for the loss last week. So hopefully this week they'll come out firing.
In O&M footy action this weekend, round 7 will see the top of the ladder Rovers hosting Corowa Rutherglen. North Albury's Josh Minogue will play his first game in 7 weeks against Yarrawonga after breaking his thumb in round 1 against the Rovers. And Myrtleford are making the trip to Wodonga to take on the Bulldogs at Martin Park. Wodonga Bulldogs president Danny Cohen says the club is in a good position.
Oh, it was a great win. We really needed that one to get our season sort of back on track. It will be a challenge. Myrtleford play well at our home ground and they're in good form at the moment, Myrtleford. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Our under-18s team is travelling really good. Our junior netball are going okay as well. And our senior girls, they are a young group, but they're progressing well.
In round 10 of O&K footy this weekend, 2 top 4 clashes will take place with Bonnie Doon hosting Bright, as well as Millawa making the trip to Greta to take on the reigning premiers. And Beechworth Football Netball Club are having an ice bucket challenge tomorrow at Barmutha Park.
Unleash your vehicle's power beyond limits. Discover our exclusive range of Yuasa automotive batteries, engineered for unparalleled reliability and performance to power your journey like never before. Battery World. Power your passion.